now?
Okay. Yes.
Awesome.
Sorry. I didn't have Zoom on this, so it was taking me a minute. I had to install it.
Oh, that's all right. Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah. I was like, great. I can't hear anything. I can't see anything.
Well, we figured it out. Well, this is the start to episode 14 of An Untold Narrative, which is this fun YouTube podcast series that I've been doing with unknown creatives, really, and just trying to give people a platform to share their story and educate the people who do listen on what you do, how you've done it, and where you come from, and things like that. And
Okay.
I don't know if you had the chance to listen to any of them. I know I just randomly asked you like 2 days ago. So
I listened to part of them. I didn't get to listen to a full one, but I did click through some of them. So
good. Okay. So with that, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know like who you are, where you're from, and stuff like that.
Okay. I'm Debi Hochberg. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm a portrait artist.
Cool.
And I paint and draw. I use graphite and charcoal, and I paint in oils, acrylic, and I just started watercolor too.
And so just for people who do listen to this, just to give them a little bit of reference, the majority of guests that I've had conversations with are primarily with people that I've met through the internet, right? I have very little contact with them in real life, and you fit the bill 100%. You're our first TikTok artist that I've met and built through the art community on there, which has been really fun to kind of watch what you've been doing and then also educate me because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm
still learning too.
As we like slowly grow the art community on TikTok.
Exactly.
So are you originally from California, or where are you originally from?
I was born in Los Angeles. My parents are from Boston.
Oh,
so
cool.
Most of my family is there. They moved out here when they got married, and I was born here. And my dad actually was an artist. He went to Massachusetts College of Art. So he was a fine artist and worked for some television stations in Boston. And then they moved out here. My dad loved baseball. So he loved that you could play baseball year round here. So he moved out here, and he also became a professional baseball scout.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's cool. And you did mention to me that some of your family still does live out here. It sounds like in Massachusetts.
Yes. Oh, most of my family is there. I have a little bit of family here in California. We were the only Californians, and we would just go visit. And then a couple of my cousins moved out here. But yeah, most of my family is back east.
Cool. And so, I mean, it sounds like you attest a lot of your art skills to your father then, if he was an artist.
Yes.
Did you study art, or like I like briefly chatted with you that it's not your full-time job. And so I don't know, maybe you can talk us through how you got into art, when you started, and, why you do it today. And it seems like you do it every single day now, which has been really fun to watch. So.
Yeah, I just started a new one too. I have some of my art if you want to see it during this interview too. If you want to see some of it.
It's up to you. These go as free as you want them.
Okay. Yeah, whatever you want to do. So I started drawing as a kid because my dad was an artist, and I just loved to draw. And I loved drawing faces. I always loved drawing portraits since I was a kid. And sometimes I would do art with my dad, and my dad was an amazing artist. He passed away a while ago from cancer. So, but when I was in school, like in high school, I did take art classes. And for me, it was a choice between art and medicine to go into. And I thought, how am I going to make any money as an artist? And they were pushing me to go to art school. And I loved art. And I figured I'll do that on the side. And I instead became a physical therapist. And I'm a specialist and work with cancer patients. Since COVID, I haven't been working, as I usually work per diem, and they didn't need me during this time. So I figured I'm going to really focus on my art. So I've gotten back into that. I also did take art classes during college. but more for fun. And my dad and I would like work on projects together. So it was
That's
pretty cool.
awesome. Where did you go to college?
I went to California State University, Northridge.
Okay. And you have a degree in physical therapy?
Yeah, well, I have actually 2 degrees. I have one in health education, and then I have my degree in physical therapy and 2 specialist certificates too that
Okay.
I got after.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, like, do you still love doing that, or it seems like you're so passionate about art these days that are you going to go back to it if you have the opportunity to?
I will. And I was working part-time. So I did have, before I had a couple of days during the week where I could draw. So I was doing it, but it would take me a lot longer to finish a piece. Where now, since I'm able to do it every day, I can usually finish in, 3 to 5 days, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing a painting, it takes a lot longer, but doing the drawings, I can go much quicker. And I really didn't start drawing again till the end of last year.
Oh,
I had been painting really for the past, well, I used to draw as a kid, and then I didn't draw for a long time. And this artist, she was a commissioned artist. My brother was going to start just doing painting classes with her or painting with her. And I said, oh, that sounds like fun. I always wanted to paint, but I didn't think it was anything I was interested in. So I went with him and I started painting, and I really liked it. And we started doing portraits, and she's a very different painter than me. She's very loose. I'm very much a perfectionist with my paintings. So mine are a lot more realistic looking. And so I started painting, and I was like, wow, I could do this. So I got really lazy about drawing because we would just paint. We wouldn't draw anything. We would just start painting, and it would turn into a person. And so I wanted to do watercolors recently, and that was something I really wanted to do. And I really have to start drawing again so that I can perfect that to do watercolor. Because with watercolor, you really need to do a drawing first.
I've never done watercolor and don't know much about it. So it sounds like you put
It's hard.
You put a drawing down first with pencil and then go over it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I have to get good at this. So I started drawing and practicing, and first I was like, okay, I'm doing okay, and I would watch like YouTube videos, and just to see how they're getting like the shading and realism. And I just started drawing more and more, and I started improving. So most of my drawings that you see, I just really started that again probably like October last year.
Okay, so like 9 months ago or so.
Yeah.
And you weren't really drawing or painting beforehand, or painting here and there?
I had been painting, well, I was painting consistently for a while, and then like the last few years, just kind of off and on. So I had been really painting like 10 years and not really drawing.
Were you doing like commissions or just for fun? Like, is it just for yourself?
Mostly for fun, and I always wanted to start a business, but I just didn't really have time. I was just busy, and then I always like to try new things. So I even tried abstract, and the first one I did, someone liked it and they bought it. So I did sell that.
But that's so different from your style, because your style's, like, to your point, it's very like perfection driven of realism.
Yes. So what I was doing, I was kind of challenging myself and pushing myself to do other things. So I thought, I'm going to try abstract, because that will sell much better than me painting my family or painting people. So I tried it, and I liked it, but it's still kind of uncomfortable for me because I am much more into the perfection of making things look real in my portraits. So I did it to try to expand myself as an artist.
I love that. Let me ask you a question about this, because I struggle with this myself. Like, I have a really hard time with justifying what abstract art is worth, because it's really in the eye of the beholder, right? And it could take an artist an hour or 2 hours, but then you dump 30, 40 hours into like a masterpiece of realism, and nobody values it as high as you think.
Exactly.
Right? So do you struggle with that same concept?
Yes. Yeah. Because like the abstracts that I've done, like you said, I can be done in a couple hours. And I think, oh, I'm done. And sometimes I always want to perfect it, but I know on that one, I'm like, I'm done. Where my portraits, if I'm painting, it's layers. So I have to let, layers dry. So when I first started painting, I was painting like once or twice a week. I'd paint for like 4 hours at a time. So it would take me 4 or 5 weeks to finish a painting. And, now I can go a little bit quicker, but I started really drawing and I really like that a lot. And even the drawings, it takes so many hours to put in to make it real. Even layers with shading, because a lot of mine, because of the painting background, I end up trying to do my portraits like that, even in drawing, where I'm layering and I kind of think of how I'm painting.
So how long does it take you to do like one of your pencil like portraits?
I think the quickest I've done is maybe 3 days. And, once I get into it, hours could go by while I'm drawing. I could be drawing 3 hours, 6 hours, and you don't even realize the time going by.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think that's the fun part of it, right? Is it's
Yeah. Oh
it's
yeah. I
an
just get
escape
into
of
it. I put my
reality.
music on. Yeah. And I just start drawing or painting and yeah.
So do you have like, I mean, you mentioned, making yourself uncomfortable and trying new things, and do you have like a preferred, medium or method or?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm really enjoying the pencil portraits, and I usually will do graphite and charcoal. Charcoal I'm not as comfortable with, so I've been kind of pushing myself with that, and like especially like working on hair. And anybody that follows me, on Instagram and stuff, I always complain about the hair, and so that's something that I've really been working on. So I've been improving. So I'm always kind of pushing myself to do better or learn new things and staying instead of sticking with one medium. But I really found that I really, really like the graphite. I do also love painting in oils. And then when I started the watercolors, of course, the first couple of them I did was a disaster. I didn't know what I was doing. So I followed, tutorial and stuff. And then I started getting that down. And if I paint it like doing an underpainting, like I would paint an oil painting. I don't know if you paint in acrylics or oils, but I always usually do an underpainting and then I build up my layers. And so I started doing that with the watercolor and it was coming out. And
Right.
then I would experiment adding colored pencil on it. I did one like that and I really liked it.
So
So
you're
kind of
mixing
like to
all
switch
sorts of,
around.
so you're
Yeah,
mixing all
mixed
media.
media.
Yeah. That's amazing. No, so I just started painting last March. So
Uh-huh.
like over a year ago. And I just literally sitting right there just earlier today finished my first oil piece. I spent a lot of money
Yeah.
on oil because I don't know. It's like, again, to your point, it's like I like pushing the limits of what I
Yes.
got comfortable with acrylic. I like felt that I like got decent at it and I can do it, but I'm like, what else can I expand to? And so,
Exactly. Yeah.
um, I mean, like you, I don't know. I don't even know like what question I'm trying to formulate here, but like you've been really capitalizing on, social media in general from my perspective and
Yeah.
like leaning into it. Like why, I guess is my question. Like
Okay.
there are so many ways for artists to get out there. Obviously this one is fairly easy and it's free. But do you have like, is there like methodology as to like why you do certain things?
Well, I started, I was putting like all of my art on just on my regular Instagram. And then I thought, okay, I'm like, why don't I just do an art site, an art Instagram? So I just started that around the time I started drawing. And I just started putting things on. And the better I got, I mean, I started getting more followers and, comments and talking to other artists and just starting to try to grow because I did want to start selling. So I did want to get my work out there to try to get it noticed. So I started putting things on social media and I've kind of like started opening like a little shop thing, but I haven't really done much with it. I mean, I can tell you like I was going to open an Etsy store, but I haven't put much on there, mostly to do commissions. And then there's another site called Art Pal that I started, and I've only put up a few pieces, but I can also sell prints off of there. Like you saw the Wonder Woman I just did. That was very popular, and people have asked like how to buy it. And so I'm probably going to do prints of that because I've already had people interested in buying prints. Even some people have asked to buy the original, which was kind of exciting.
So a couple questions on that. So I don't know anything about, you said Art Pal? Is that what it's called?
Art Pal. Yeah, it's a site that I found. So basically what I liked about it, because I was researching a lot of the sites to sell art, and a lot of them, take commissions off of your pieces that you sell. On Art Pal, you get 100% of the commission on your pieces that you sell. They do sell prints, and they will do all the prints and framing and stuff, and you just put the profit that you want to make from it, and then they charge whatever their cost is to that.
Let me ask a question. Do they require the original art, or you have to just take a high-res photo of it?
High-res photo or scan. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Like I had photos taken and then they were too large. So then I tried doing scans, but they have to be, high resolution so that they can make big prints from them. So I started putting those on. I haven't put Wonder Woman on there, but I'm going to because it seems to be very popular. So I've noticed like to really sell, I need to do things more like superhero characters, which I've done some of those. Those have a lot of fans. Those get a lot of attention. I don't usually draw like actors and actresses, but I know like when I do, if people notice them, they seem to be much more interested in them. Before I was just drawing models or different people. And I have gotten a few commissions, which is good. Actually pencil portrait commissions, which was my latest thing, to try other than watercolor.
So crazy.
Yeah, so it's really neat, but I do want to get that more out there. And since I haven't been, working the last 3 months, I've been really focusing on that. That's why you see so much of my stuff out there.
So you're just like
what's been keeping me busy.
Every day you're drawing or creating something.
I'm trying to, yeah. There are like after Wonder Woman, which took a lot, that took me, I'd say like 5 to 7 days to do. It was a lot of hours, and I was trying to perfect it. I don't even really keep track. Sometimes it varies. Sometimes it could be 3 hours. Sometimes it could be like most of the day I'm drawing. So it really just depends on what I'm doing that day and how much time I have. But I really do try to work every day. I did take 3 days off. So I just started a new drawing. I started yesterday or the day before that I'm working on. And in fact, I just posted a progress on Instagram.
I know. I just saw it right before we.
Did you see it? Yeah.
So let me ask a couple things. Are you getting, well, now that you're getting commissions, it seems like, or people are interested in your art, do you find that primarily through, this Art Pal website or Instagram or TikTok, or is it like a culmination of all of them?
I think all of them. I don't really think Art Pal gets me noticed. I think it's more of a site that you can send people to buy your art, because I've also had, there's so many people on social media that are from other countries, and I've had people from other countries, oh, can you, do this? And my problem right now is figuring, how do I get it to them, during all of this? That's the hard part. So, I'm still kind of working through all of that. I mean, people in the United States, since I'm in California, and that hasn't been a problem.
Right.
But I mean, I've also watched other artists. There's other artists that I talk to, or there's like a group of artists that try to support each other. And I mean, some of them, it's crazy. They've gone like crazy on social media. Have like 25,000 followers and 70 commissions. It's like unreal. So I don't expect to get to that point, but just, whatever I can do to try to get my art out there.
Hey, listen, say your goal's high. I mean, I like whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to, sell 1 million commissions. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's fun, and I love hearing and finding people that, get to do one that's like their passion and it makes them super happy, but then also can like sustain a living, or at least, suffice until you get back to your other job or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Versus having to go pick up something like Uber Eats or something. I don't know. So like, it's really nice to hear that, people are interested and that they're buying it and supporting you. Which
Yeah, yeah.
leads me to my next question of like, how do you price your work?
That's hard. That's really hard. Um, Again, I've asked other artists, like, what they price things. I know like that first piece that I sold, that abstract, um, I didn't know how to price it. And I probably priced it too low because I felt like I was just starting. But then I had talked to other people in the art field and they're like, don't do that. Don't undersell your work because
What'd you sell
people
that one for?
don't. I have sold it for 95.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's probably a little low.
It was just a 10 by 10. And yeah, it was a little bit low. Like the pencil portraits, like a 9 by 12. I did a 9, yeah, it was 9 by 12. That was one of them that I had sold. And I did it for $100 plus, and then they paid for shipping. I don't really know, what to price it at. Um, I know like if the bigger it gets, the more, I don't know. And paintings are a lot more. So I always find that paintings are harder to sell because they do take a long time. Like when I was working with the commissioned artist, she told me, you're painting a portrait, you should start at $500. So I did. And, some people, they hear that and they say, forget it. I'm not interested.
Yep.
So you can either lower it and go, okay, I'm just starting. They don't understand all the materials that go into it and all of the hours. And you're spending so many hours doing this work and they don't know that. They just don't get it unless they were sitting there watching you. And I've started doing time lapse on my work, so I can put that out there too. I
Yeah.
mean, I know as
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of artists, I mean, as you already know, will do like YouTube channels and, do tutorials. And I mean, some of them, that's the way they make a living. They do the Patreon and, some of them are making like, 20,000 a month doing that.
It's crazy talk.
Yeah, crazy. Like I can't imagine.
I'm like, that just seems like an absurd amount. But I mean, you feel like if you're cross-platforming that much, and then YouTube, and then you're sponsored by materials or different brands, and
Yeah.
it is just essentially free money. It seems like, but you have to put the time and energy into it, right? So it's not
Yeah.
easy by any means, but it is
Yeah.
a wild time to be alive in 2020 where you can make that much money.
Yeah,
Living on,
exactly. And from home.
yeah,
Basically you're at home doing it and you're just on social media. And I mean, that's the good part of the social media. I mean, I see a lot of artists and they're like putting it out there and they're constantly on there. It's a lot of work.
yeah.
I mean, I try posting, but I thought, okay, yeah, I could do a YouTube video, but I don't know if I'm comfortable all the time, being out there and, doing all that and taking the criticism. But who
It's
knows,
also
maybe.
exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It is because you constantly have to be on. And yeah, it's just a lot of work. I have been asked though, which was kind of neat from other artists that are learning, like they'll ask me, oh, how did you draw the hair? Could you do a tutorial or a nose? So if it's like a couple of those up, just like quick things. And I did those and, people are really thankful for that. I mean, it's not, it's steps, but it's just a short period of time. So they're very quick.
Yeah.
Things.
But I find that especially like younger generations are very DIY centric and they love learning like a new skill or a new trade or a life hack even, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw the one you did about the hair and I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I got asked a lot about that, and that's my weakness was hair. So that's something I was always working on, and that hair came out good. And sometimes even when I'm doing them, even Wonder Woman, because I did draw Wonder Woman last year, and when I compare the two, and I'll probably put it up, that's like I'm almost embarrassed of the one I did last year compared to the one I did this year. It's such an improvement,
right.
But the hair is what I hated the most on that. So that's something that I kept working on. And now like Wonder Woman's hair is so dark, I had to use charcoal, which I'm not completely comfortable with. And I started doing it and I thought, oh, great. I did everything else good. I'm messing her up. And I just keep going and it comes out. And the one that I did with the bun, that's probably my best hair that I've done.
So let me ask a question. Why do you gravitate towards portraits or like faces or bodies or
I
like,
just, it's something that I've always loved drawing. And I love drawing like expressions in people's faces, and eyes are my favorite thing. And you can get a lot of expression and feeling through the eyes. And it's something that I've been able to capture in my paintings and then in my drawings now. And I find it much more interesting. Like when I go to draw objects or clothes, it kind of bores me. I mean, I also like, I feel like I need to challenge myself and get better at drawing clothes. So sometimes, I'll practice that too, all the wrinkles in the clothes. But the faces is what interests me. I just love drawing them.
See, I've never been able to draw like really like very like detailed faces, and it's like I
Hmm.
know it's my biggest weakness in art.
Yeah,
Like I even
yeah.
recently tried to do a portrait, and I spent, I don't know, I put like between 15 and 20 hours into it, and then
Oh yeah,
I
easily.
gave up. I gave up. I was like, this is not looking good. It looks nothing like the person I chose. And I'm like, and I just painted it all black. I was like, this is just not for me. It's just not for me, no
Yeah.
matter like how decent I think I am at it.
Yeah, you just got to keep practicing. That's what I did. I just kept practicing and looked at different methods of drawing and different shading. And I feel like I'm always learning, even when I'm doing them. Sometimes I'll start one like this, the one that I just posted. I hated it when I first started. Like yesterday, I didn't like it. And I just kept working on it and working on it. I'm like, okay, it's coming out. And I'm like, she still doesn't look right. The hair's coming out, and she's an actress, and probably nobody knows who it is because it probably doesn't really look like her, but it kind of looks like the picture. Maybe eventually it will, but I mean, I'm much happier with how it's turning out. I just have to keep working on it, and I just keep going over the shading, and I'm always adjusting the features. But somehow, I just love doing it.
How do you pick like what you're working on next? Like, do you just,
Um, Sometimes that's hard, and I think, okay, which one am I going to do next? So I go through like different images, usually like the royalty free images that you can use, and I just look for something. Okay, I want to work on hair, so I need someone with a lot of hair. So I don't know how many of my drawings you've seen, but I've done some with like a lot of hair,
mhm.
so I could work on that. Or just something interesting in the face. Like I wanted to do a profile one. So I was looking through different profiles and the way that the light hits the face.
Gotcha.
Um,
Do you
yeah.
do you
So
like put an image, behind your art, or do you just like literally have the image here and then your paint or your art here and you just look back and forth?
yes. Yeah. I'll either do it, I'll put it on my iPad or my computer, and then I can zoom in while I'm working on, different parts of it. And then I also do print it out. And sometimes when I get really OCD about, making everything perfect, I have my little proportion divider, and I like measure everything to make sure my eyes are,
Really?
like in the right spot. I've done that. Yes, that's a really good way to make sure that you're getting your proportions right on
What's
the
the
face.
proportion divider? Is this something you buy?
Um, yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. I can actually show it to you. I have one. Excuse me for 1 minute and I'll
Yeah,
get
yeah, go
it.
ahead. Yeah, no, it's fine. I have no idea what this is. And I probably should get one because it'll probably help me out.
Okay, so this is the proportion divider.
So do you
So
just like pull it from
basically,
one image to the next?
yeah, let me show you. Let's see. Like here, I have Wonder Woman right here, so I'll show you. So I have my Wonder Woman. So I would take like the picture and I would, measure between her eyes. And then I would just take it and I would put it and go, okay, it's the right size. So I would try, like this one is 9 by 12. So I would try to print out a picture that was, the same size so that I could get the proportions right. Or even on the computer, like I'll use Photoshop a lot so I can get the sizes right. Or adjust the color. I'll take colored photos and then turn them into black and white and really look at where the shadows are. And that helps because at first I was drawing from just color, And it's much easier if you change it to black and white.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That sounds like it would really help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get myself that tool. That is a
Yes.
wild.
Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, I like go like, okay, one thumb, two thumbs, and then like every time I'm like different meters away from it, and it's like
Yeah. Well, I
never.
mean, there's a lot of different ways. If you want to do portraits, there's the grid method you can use. I've used that. That's good because then you can get proportions just, you know, as long as you make your grids the same as you put over the picture. I don't know if you've tried the grid. That works. Or there's another one where you can take the ruler and measure, and you just put like dots like on certain spots. So let's say I'm taking my picture and I put like a dot here and a dot here, and then I can measure and do the same thing. And you can measure from the top to the bottom to see, you know, where, you know, as long as you, to make sure that you're getting your proportions correct. But a lot of artists are using grid method, which works really well.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy that I learned something new during this.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun talking to different people from like different artist mediums, and like 'cause you just learn something completely different that I'll probably apply to some way, shape, or form in the future, because I just eyeball everything, and then sometimes it works out, and sometimes
I was doing that too. And it's a lot harder. And even when if I use any of these methods, I'm always like measuring because things still get off. And so, you know, I'm correcting as I'm drawing, which was always the thing I thought, you know, oh, with pencil, you know, with paint, you can just paint over it, which I liked because you can change the shape of things. With pencil, so, you know, if you start off light and then you can erase and change, I've moved eyeballs over, you know, noses I've changed. Like I've had to move stuff over while I'm drawing. So I
that
have
seems
to
like a lot
erase.
of work.
It is. I don't like when that happens. Much easier when you're doing it with paint because you just start, you know.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was constantly doing that with paint. Even in painting, sometimes if I would get carried away, I would make holes in people's heads and then I have to wait for it to dry and then fill it back in.
I mean, is your goal like to just become a full-time artist, or do you like just want it to be like a passive income kind of thing where you get to do it on the side still?
For right now, I'm just thinking about on the side. I mean, I do have like a whole career that I have, you know, as a specialized physical therapist. And I mean, right now it's just giving me the time because I'm not working. But yeah, I'm planning on doing that. Since I was working part-time, I could do that part-time, my art part-time, which has been nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, so I do want to do it more as a side career, not like a full-time, unless I was one of those lucky people and I got brave enough to do like YouTube and Patreon and make 20,000 a month, then fine, that's my career.
Yeah, or if like your TikTok took off, like these spin artists who are just making thousands and thousands of dollars a month. I don't know if you follow any of them or see that.
No, I haven't seen that.
It drives me like, it's just, they just take a small like 16 by 20 canvas, they squeeze a bunch of paint on it, and then they put it in the back of a power drill, and then they just spin it and they sell it for hundreds of dollars. It makes no sense. It drives me nuts because I know how much work goes into real art. I'll call it real art because that's not real art. It just blows my brain out, and I'm like so frustrated because like it's like, and then you see they have like 300,000 followers and people buying off stores every single day, and I'm like, it took them 8 seconds to make that work of art.
I know. I think we're in the wrong business. We need to do that. Or the pour artists. Yeah, they pour that, they just pour the paint on and then they
But to me,
turn
that
it.
takes a little more skill because you need to know how the paint is gonna work and flow, and even like they're using a hair dryer and like the bubbles reacting, and like I think it takes a little bit more skill. Like I can read into that a little bit more, but I agree it's still a little bit easier. But you know, I don't know, it's fun to like see other people, you know, utilize like TikTok in this learning different craftsmanships and then selling it and making a lot of money on it.
I know. Well, I mean, I'm just trying to get my work out there, and so like all of that's pretty new to me, so I'm still kind of like learning what I'm doing. But yeah, I've seen people just Like it just blows up with followers, and they have all these people following them and wanting, work. It's like, how are you doing that? So I'm trying, probably not, I'm not on there as much as other people are, but yeah,
What
but
is,
I'm trying.
have you faced like, I think you even hinted at it a little bit earlier. Like, have you ever faced like people giving you like bad feedback or, saying negative things?
Not a lot for mine, but I've seen the people, other artists that have gotten big, people do say things like, oh, you didn't really draw that. Oh, this is, they will say things, and they will confront them through social media, because these people are just jealous, or they're cowards. They can be behind their computer making comments like, oh, this is so bad. Luckily so far, but I mean, I'm not huge like other people. I haven't gotten really any criticism, which is good so far.
That is nice. I mean,
I
it's
just think the bigger and the more followers you get, people get jealous, and then they start criticizing.
that's
So you just have to kind of it's hard, because it's hard when people criticize your work. You think, it's bad. I'm not doing a good job. But you just have to go, okay, they're just saying that.
yeah. I mean, it totally makes you like self-conscious of your work, and like, I'm thankful that a lot of people have only left nice things on my posts, and
Yeah, mine too.
are helpful. But then again, it's like, I don't know, TikTok, I get like 200 random people who follow me, so it's like, but I think that's like the fun part for me, is like the process of like interacting with these random humans, right? I mean, more
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on my Instagram page, it's more so people that I actually know or I've met through, my career, who are in the same industry as I am and stuff like that. But TikTok's brand new. It's like, these
Oh
are
yeah, yeah,
random people from around
exactly.
the world.
Even my Instagram too. I first started, like, I invited all the people that I knew, and at first I had like 40 followers, and I'm like, okay. And then I just started following other artists, and then other artists started following me back. So mainly my Instagram is mostly art community, almost all artists. I have a few, some people that aren't, but most of them are other artists, and very supportive, and which is nice. I feel like everybody, in the art community mostly supports each other. But now I have almost 900 followers. I'm still, growing, but I went from like 40 when I started, at the end of last year, to almost 900 now, which I'm happy about. I never expected. I just put it up there just to have an art page.
Right. I mean, so like, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, because to me, it's, if you think about the number 900, it doesn't look like a lot, right? But
No, not compared to some people.
but if you took 900 people and put them in a room with you, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
do you pay attention to that kind of stuff, or you try to not pay attention to
I
it?
do. I mean, I do. Like today, I woke up and like 10 more people followed me. I'm like, oh, okay, that's neat.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know why, because yesterday all I did was put up a little like video on my Instagram of me like working on the eye, because I didn't like the drawing at that time, but I hadn't posted for a few days. So I try to kind of keep my posts up to, keep people interested. And I don't know, somehow I think people just kind of come across your work and they start following, I guess, if they're interested, plus other artists.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it is something that I look at, and of course, yeah, you're like want followers, but you also get those people, like I start getting, other younger artists, and they're like, oh, will you check out my work? Will you follow me? Please follow me. Everybody wants to follow, or you get these people, that's all that they care about, and they'll follow you. You follow them back, which I'm happy to follow people back. I'm not one of those people that follows people and then unfollows. That drives me insane. But you get so many of these that all they care about their followers. They follow you and then they unfollow you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't get it.
I mean, it's the society we live in. People, I don't know. It's what they weigh themselves against others,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not my goal, to get like, 100,000 followers. Yeah, of course that would be nice. But mine is just to get my art out there. And if people want to follow me, I'm happy to have them follow me. But it's not, I'm not going to go beg for people to follow me just to have followers. That's not my goal.
Right. Do you find that you're interacting with a lot like younger people on TikTok? Because like I like see a lot of the comments. I'll click on a page and it's like I'm 12 years old and I'm like, oh my god, this is so weird.
Yeah, I would say some. Yeah, some were like kids. Especially like when I put my superhero ones out. When I put those out, even on Instagram, I get like a lot of anime artists that will follow me, and they're usually like really young. And they're like, wow, oh my gosh, can you draw this? But that's all they want me to draw is like superheroes. And, you know, I did it, you know, just to try, and I do them like randomly, but I'm not a person that constantly is drawing superheroes. I've done some more because sometimes I do try to like cater to what people like or what they're going to be interested in. And I feel like some of that type of work would sell better than me going, oh, okay, here's a portrait I did of, you know, someone in my family. And I can do a commission for you. You know, I mean, there are a lot of people that do want commissions too, which I would be happy to get. And those I like doing. I actually have one right now. There's a girl that I had met on there, and she asked me to do, she's a hairstylist, and she liked all my hair, you know, on my portraits, because that's something that I had been focusing on. So she wanted me to do like a dark hair portrait. And so I said, fine. And then she's writing a book and she wants me to do the cover for her book. And I know.
See, like,
okay.
I'm so excited because this is just a random human you met on an app.
Yeah, exactly.
That is phenomenal. And like, imagine if, and you just need this one person, you get a photo of that or a video of that, and then you just can target all hair salons and just be like, hey, would you guys want this? Like, if you really wanted to pursue it, right, as like a thing. But that's such like a niche. Like, I would have never thought that, yeah, you should probably just make more art for hair salons or something like that. But it's a great idea.
Yeah, you could focus. I mean, I'm not, because I do like to switch around, and I like to switch around mediums. But again, almost all of my stuff is mainly portrait. That's what I do focus on. And usually like above, you know, like the shoulders and above, I will draw the hair. I don't do a lot of like full body stuff. I mean, the book that she's asking me to do is going to be a little more complicated. So I really have to kind of think about it, because she doesn't even have an idea. And a lot of my things I'm not doing from imagination. I do them from photographs.
Right.
So that I can, you know, I need that reference.
So do I. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Because you can, you know, really see where the shadows are and measures. I mean, like I could draw a face from imagination, but coming up with a whole scene, I'd rather, you know, take different pieces. And that's what I've been kind of researching, like for what she wants, researching, like it's this girl holding a camera and looking at some guy, and it has to do with like the Grand Canyon and the moon. This is what she tells me. So I'm like looking up all this stuff, and I found, you know, like references of a girl holding a camera, and maybe like I'm thinking maybe looking at this other person, and I could draw like two people probably from the shoulders up.
How do you go about pricing a work like that? Are you gonna just like, because
I have no idea.
Because immediately I'm like, oh, I'd ask for like a royalty of every book she sells or something like that.
Yeah, she said that I would get that. If the book became big, she said, yeah, I would get royalty.
Oh, cool. But then like with that, would you charge like an upfront thing?
You know, I didn't even really think about it, but probably like something just for the art first. Right. Yeah, some initial, you know, for the art.
Just to cover like
and
the
then
spent.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, what a unique opportunity.
I know. And she's like, well, you don't have to do it. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm always up for a challenge, especially with my art. So I'll try.
I mean, to be on a book cover is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
I
on
never
a lot of
expected
people's
that.
bucket lists, I guess, but I don't know. It's a bucket list item.
Yeah, we'll see if I can do it. I'm still coming up with ideas. And so in the meantime, I'm just working on other drawings too, because I don't want to have like this big lapse of time while I'm researching other stuff. So I feel like I have to keep drawing or painting and working on things.
Do you have your own like space in your home, or do you rent a studio, or like where do you work?
No, right now I'm working on the dining room table. I
Nice.
don't even have, like, I used to have a drawing table. I don't have one right now. I do have an easel for my paintings. So I have like a tabletop easel, I have a stand easel. So I'll use those. But eventually, we're going to take one of our rooms and then kind of make it into like a little like office studio. So then I'll have more space.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel I personally like I find that like environment is everything. It's like not only in the motivational factor, but like inspiration and like just, setting yourself up for success versus being like crammed in this little space. Like I hate like
Yeah.
I have to paint right now because I lost my paint studio. I have to paint on the floor of my apartment and I just like it's driving me up a wall.
Yeah, it's hard. It's much better when you have a space. What I'll try to do, because I have a lot of light that comes into the house, and so especially like during the day, I will take my easel and I'll put it up and I'll put music on and just sometimes put my AirPods on and just kind of get into my zone of art, and I just go, and that helps.
Nice.
Sometimes even have a little drink with it.
Oh, almost
That helps too. Gets
yeah,
you very creative.
yeah, 1000%.
Yeah.
Um, Super cool. So you said, do you have like your own personal website, or you just use that Art Pal website?
I made an, a website a long time ago, just on Wix.com, for my paintings. I don't even think it got a lot of attention or anything. I don't even really use it because it was from several years ago, but it has my paintings on it. I have thought about doing just a personal website too. I have like a Facebook page for my art, my Instagram, TikTok, those kinds of things. And then I'm doing the Art Pal and the Etsy. But there is one artist told me about a site called Art Station. And this is like a full-time artist that sells stuff, and it's in this group of artists that I'll ask questions to sometimes. And so I'm checking that out too. They have like a free subscription, that you can put a website on there, but there's only certain things you can do. And then they have like paid ones that give you more. But it will also, you can sell prints through there where they'll send it out, or you can do it. And that's stuff that I'm still kind of like learning about right now. Some people have their own printers and they're making their own prints, or they go to a printer and then send them. For me, I kind of would like to start by having, a website that does it like Art Pal or Art Station, and then they send out the prints. Of course, if it's original or commissions, then I would do all of that.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Are
Uh,
you selling your
I
work?
so I just started an Etsy like a month or two ago. COVID has
Okay.
allowed me to like really expand,
Yeah.
I think similar to you, and spend the time on it. But my Etsy store is a little weird. It's like I started advertising like $1 a day just to like, because it's impossible to like for somebody to find your work. It really is.
Yes.
It's an oversaturated market, and like even the hot like words and stuff like that, like you have to advertise like in order for somebody to see it. And so
Exactly.
I'm like, I'll make this story real quick, but I don't know if this person knows who I am or whatever, but they reached out and they're like, I'd like to buy 4 works of art, not through Etsy. Like my, uncle is paying for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, whatever. And like, I give them the total amount. It's a large sum of money. And then, it's literally this recent. I'm waiting for the check to arrive, but I think there's a scam going on. They're like, it's made out to a different amount, and they're like, you need to refund us part of it, and that
Yeah.
amount is double the amount of what the check was supposed to be made out to. And I'm like, that seems a little bizarre. But I'm like,
Yeah.
am I gonna leave that money on the table just like and walk away from it? I'm like, it could fund a lot more art, but I'm just like trying to battle. And so like Etsy really hasn't worked out too well for me. So like I'm really interested
Okay.
in myself, but I'm also in conversations with a printmaker
Oh, that's good.
on doing some stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Um,
Yeah.
but again, there's so many different things to learn and to like make what's the right decision. I think just like doing something is better than no decision or trying to wait too much.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's so many people trying to scam you too. I mean, there is one artist and she's been putting up, she even puts up the emails from scammers. So I think she's a full-time artist, which it's been interesting. Let me try to figure out, I'll send it to you so you can
Cool.
see what like her things too. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten a couple of people like on Instagram that are from India and they'll ask me, and I think because their English isn't so they're not speaking so well, or they don't understand what I'm saying. They'll ask me, draw me, draw me, draw me, and I'm like, do you want a commission, or is it you just want me to draw you? Because some people just want to be drawn and put up on your site just so that they're there. And again, they don't understand all the work. I had one guy ask me to do a drawing for him for this girl that he liked, and he's supposedly an artist too, and said that he had COVID and that he might die, and that could I do it, and he would take credit for my drawing. And I was like, no way. Yes, I got one of those.
Wow.
So I just stopped answering it. Other ones, I've had them ask me and I'll tell them prices, and then trying to figure out how to get things to like India, it's kind of hard, especially during COVID and everything. So those haven't really worked out. So for me to start more, through Etsy, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
If you have like a site, also, I just want to be careful with the whole money thing and the scammers. So I try to be really careful about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm dealing with it.
Yeah, it's hard because everybody's trying to scam you. I'll get people asking me weird questions on Instagram, and I'm like, have you looked at my art? I'm here just for my art. So either you look at that, I don't know what scam you're trying to, do, but it's not going to work.
Right. Cool. What's like, do you have like future goals or aspirations that you want to like pursue either through art or other things? Like I always like asking people like if they think long term or if they're just like living in the moment or kind of,
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to at least become, have a part-time business as an artist, to have, some sort of business where I can sell art or do commissions. I'm always trying to I get inspired by like seeing other artists work too. And I think, oh, that's really neat. I want to try it. Like I have tried combining, mixed medias and stuff to try to create things. Cause I do think more long-term, like, oh, this is something that someone would buy off of a site rather than, a specific drawing of a person. It could have to do with people. Like I've seen portraits with different things across the faces, or portraits that are part graphite, part watercolor. I did one just for fun that was graphite, watercolor, and charcoal, and it was kind of neat. I mean, it kind of came out. I have to play with it a little bit more,
totally.
but just some interesting things. I'm always looking for new ideas of things to create and things that I think would sell. I just haven't gotten to the point where I'm selling a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, luckily you're doing it for the fun of it versus, necessarily the monetization of it, but
yeah, it's more for both. I mean, of course I would like to sell, and I am working towards that, but I'm still trying to figure out all of the sites like Etsy, working through pricing and everything on there. I am going to put some things up on Etsy. So I did do a site, I think I called it like Debi Hochberg Arts or something. I would have to look because I haven't put anything on it yet, but I'm going to. And then I'll probably, through like social media, put it out there, where I put my art. One thing I can tell you is that ArtPal, when you do put it up, they will promote your stuff, and it doesn't cost. Like on Instagram, if you can do a promotion, but it's like a certain amount of money. I haven't done that. I've thought about it, but I haven't done it yet. Through ArtPal, it will like send it to, like if you have a Facebook page, it will put an ad that you had put something up. So it does kind of promote it for free, which is good. On Instagram, I did put like in my profile, my ArtPal site, and I've had like people looking at stuff, but I haven't had anybody interested. I've only put like 2 or 3 pieces up.
yeah.
So I really need to put more. It's just I'm trying to get good scans or good, high resolution photographs of it to put up.
Yeah, that's true. Awesome. What we've been talking for almost an hour right now, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This has been awesome. It's nice to like informally meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to anybody that listens to this, or because I'll like plug all your like your hand
Okay.
stuff like that below,
Okay.
and you know, to make sure that you can drive hopefully some traffic and interest to your pages and
Yeah,
stuff
that would be
like
great.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody's interested in seeing my work, just check out my Instagram
Yeah,
or any of my social media, which David will put up. Or if you have questions, just DM me is fine. I'm always, happy to answer questions or help people where I can. So
awesome.
yeah,
I'm,
or if anybody's interested in commissions,
yeah,
you can check out my art pal too.
yeah,
And that is linked on my Instagram.
got to get the plugs in there.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know this was like kind of like a random ask. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
been on a podcast or a YouTube
No,
channel.
I haven't. It's my first one.
Well, I'm super happy about that then.
Yes.
So cool.